purpose with God is a life lived with intention, a life where you and I find our greatest joy in learning to see how our story is a kingdom God-sized dream we couldn't have ever imagined.
You're listening to Your Moment of Hope. Here's your host, Billy Peterson.
Comparison is so easy to fall into. And could it be that comparison is actually robbing you of your purpose today? Let's jump into today's episode of the Your Moment of Hope podcast. Something I've learned the hard way: comparing your story or life to someone else's steals the power of both your purpose and your attention to that purpose. Don't give the enemy that territory. What's for you is for you, and it's good. The truth is, you don't actually want that life because you want to learn to love and live yours. It's time to do it with God. Life with Jesus isn't meant to be compared, but lived. Purpose with God is a life lived with intention, a life where you and I find our greatest joy in learning to see how our story is a kingdom God-sized dream we couldn't have ever imagined. Making his name great because of Jesus? What if this season is where you step into all that God has for you? What if instead of changing the circumstances, he's changing you? Because you and I don't get to choose our assignments, but we do get to show up fully with the gifts that he's given us for his glory. Well, I'm just so honored and humbled, really, that you would show up for another episode of the Your Moment of Hope podcast. And if I am graced with your presence next time on the show, you and I are going to talk about the hurt and the healer. The pressure is off to find all the answers. You can just sit with the one who can heal you. We'll talk about that next time on the podcast. For now, continue walking forward in faith, my friend.
Thanks for being here for this episode of the Your Moment of Hope podcast. If you want to go deeper in your walk with God, make sure to check out past episodes at theq997.com, the Q997 app, Apple Podcasts, or on Spotify. Once again, thank you for your presence here today. We'll see you next time.